What if I told you that the emptiness you feel when nothing excites you anymore is not a sign that something is wrong with you, but rather the quiet signal that an entire version of your life has reached its natural end? Most people, when they encounter this feeling, immediately try to fix it. They search for new hobbies, new relationships, new distractions. They scroll endlessly, hoping something will spark that old When you approach those same activities, there's a heaviness. You have to push yourself. You have to remind yourself why you're doing it. The joy is not there. Or if it is faint, like a memory of joy rather than the thing itself. This is confusing because nothing has changed on the outside. The activity is the same. The people are the same. But something inside you has shifted. You might feel guilty about this. You might think there is something wrong with you for not feeling what you used to feel. You might try harder. The old narratives are dissolving because they no longer serve your growth. They were useful once, but you have outgrown them. And the psyche, in its wisdom, is creating space for new narratives to emerge. But those new narratives cannot be forced or fabricated. They must arise from within, from the quiet depths where the self resides. And to access those depths, you must first let go of what you think you know. You must allow the old stories to fall away, even if it leaves you temporarily without a map. The third sign is this: you feel a pull towards solitude, not the desperate loneliness of isolation, but a quiet need to be alone. You find yourself declining invitations, not because you dislike the people or the activities, but because the thought of engaging feels exhausting. You crave space, silence, time to simply be without the demands of social interaction. This can be confusing, especially if you have always been social, if relationships have been a central source of meaning in your life. You might worry that you are becoming withdrawn, depressed, disconnected. But what is happening is something different. When the old life is expiring, conditions is solitude. There is a particular quality to this solitude. It is not empty. It is full, but in a way that is difficult to describe. You are not alone with nothing. You are alone with everything, with the vastness of your inner world, with all the parts of yourself that have been neglected or suppressed in the rush of daily life. And as you sit with this fullness, as you allow yourself to simply be without distraction, things begin to surface. Memories, feelings, images, questions. They rise up from the unconscious like bubbles from the depths of a lake. Some of them are painful. Some of them are confusing. But all of them are important. They are the raw material of your transformation. You might also notice that in solitude, you begin to hear a voice that is usually drowned out by the noise of the world. It is not a literal voice, but a sense, a knowing, an intuition. It speaks quietly, without urgency, without insistence. It does not tell you what to do. It simply shows you what is true. And what it shows you, more often than not, is that the life you've been living is no longer aligned with who you are becoming. a space opens up. It is not a comfortable space, not at first. It can feel like free fall, like losing your bearings. But within that space, something new becomes possible. You begin to ask different questions. Not what should I do, but what do I truly want? Not how can I succeed, but what does it mean to live authentically? These questions do not have easy answers. They require time, patience, and a willingness to sit with uncertainty. But they are the questions that lead to the self, to the deeper truth of who you are. The fifth sign is this: you become aware of your own performance. You start to notice the ways you adjust yourself depending on who you are with. You see how you shift your tone, your opinions, your energy to match the expectations of others. And this is not necessarily inauthentic. We all do it. It is part of being social, part of navigating relationships. But now, you are aware of it in a way you were not before. You watch yourself perform, and you feel a growing discomfort, a sense that you are betraying something essential by constantly adapting to the needs and expectations of others. This awareness is a sign that the persona is loosening its grip. For years, the persona has been the primary way you relate to the world. It has protected you, helped you belong, allowed you to function in social spaces. But the persona is also a limitation. It is a mask, and masks hide as much as they reveal. When the psyche is ready to move beyond the persona, it begins to show you the mask for what it is. It allows you to see the gap between who you are and who we have betrayed ourselves to belong. We are being called to reclaim the shadow, to bring those hidden parts back into the light. This is not a comfortable process. It means risking disapproval, rejection, conflict, but it is the only way to live as a whole person rather than a fragmented one. You might find that as this awareness grows, transition at work. They are moments when the ego steps back and the self comes forward, when you're no longer trying to control or direct your life, but simply allowing it to unfold. And in that allowing, there's a deep peace, a sense that everything is exactly as it should be, even when it does not make sense, even when it is difficult. You might find that after these moments, you feel different. Not permanently changed, but subtly shifted. The things that were troubling you seem less urgent. The questions that were tormenting you seem less pressing. There's a sense of trust, a quiet confidence that you're being held, that you're not alone in this process, that there's a wisdom at work that is far greater than your conscious understanding. This trust does not make the uncertainty go away, but it makes it bearable. It allows you to move forward without needing to know exactly where you're going. The ninth sign is this: you become sensitive to what is false. You can of truth, a capacity to discern what is real from what is merely convincing. This is not a moral judgment. It is not about right and wrong. It is about authenticity, about alignment, about what resonates with the deeper truth of who you are. You might find that you can no longer consume certain kinds of media, engage in certain kinds of conversations, or participate in certain kinds of activities that you once tolerated. But the self will not be denied. It will continue to pull, to call, to disturb your peace until you finally surrender and follow. All of these signs, when taken together, form a coherent picture of a psyche in transition. They are not random symptoms. They are not evidence of failure or pathology. They are the natural, necessary stages of a process. You create space for the unconscious to speak through dreams, through feelings, through the subtle promptings of intuition. You spend time in solitude, in silence, in stillness, allowing the noise of the world to fade so that the quiet voice of the self can be heard. You might begin a practice of writing, not to produce anything, not to be eloquent or insightful, but simply to give the unconscious a channel through which to express itself. You write whatever comes, without editing, without censoring, allowing the words to flow from a place deeper than conscious thought. And in that flow, patterns begin to emerge. Themes, images, questions that reveal what is happening beneath the surface of your awareness. This is not therapy, though it can be therapeutic. It is a conversation with the unconscious, a way of honoring the process that is unfolding within you. You might also create rituals of transition, small symbolic acts that acknowledge the death of the old and the birth of the new. You might write down the beliefs, identities, and narratives that no longer serve you, and burn the paper, watching the smoke carry them away. You might spend time in nature, walking slowly, allowing the rhythm of your body to sync with the rhythm space where transformation is not only possible, but welcomed, supported, and understood. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for having the courage to face the death of the old life so that the new one can begin.